society's made up. Have you ever tripped out on that? Like the fact that literally society, and this has become so much more real and I've become so much more aware of it recently, is like everything in society is completely man-made. Like obviously you can look at that and be like, no shit, you dumbass. But if you actually separate nature from man-made society, and then you look and you're like, you're out in the vast countryside or out in like the forest or wherever, and then you come into a city and you realize the difference of not only energetic fields but like trees, nature, and you can actually see how nature is being affected within the city, like by the energy, you know, like let's say you're looking at a tree next to a busy highway and you can see that it's all just kind of like dying and bummed out and like maybe a different color, but then you're out in the forest and you can see that something's just flourishing and there, and it's like, it not only does it have, you know, like pollution and humans have an effect on nature, but that, I don't know, it just became like, whoa, like once you realize like that we're living an illusion basically, but it's like a cool illusion. I'm not talking on it and I'm not saying that it's bad. It's just human designed completely. And then like obviously technology and the evolution of technology and the evolution of nature. But when you're out in like Madagascar or you're checking out, you know, the islands in Fiji or wherever you are, and you're looking at God's work, you know, and then obviously like, you know, I think humans are God's work. I don't have any proof to know that, but I think that it is obviously, or we wouldn't be here. But then you look at like man-made work and then the design of the human mind and the mind taking its but like taking its shape on reality and having the ability to like design and be an architect or be an artist or be an athlete or be, you know, whatever, to go out and create. And I do believe that we're all here to create. And I feel like a lot of us, or we do have free will on what to create, unless we've been, you know, given a life where we're imprisoned or in slavery or something like that. But like the majority of people, I feel like, have the ability to create on some level, whether that's just painting a picture or, you know, going out and expressing yourself, surfing on a wave or whatever it is. But at the same time, we forget that difference. And I'm trying to, like, somebody out there watching this, I'm trying to like wake you up to what I'm seeing, because it's different. Like I could be saying something to you right now and it won't make sense unless you're trying to like, or unless you're like seeing what I'm seeing while I'm trying to explain it. What I'm saying is the difference between, you know, like looking at eyes through just society. You know, like people call it the Matrix, right? Like the Matrix is human made, but society, like if you're, let's say you were born, like I know people that have never left the state of California, you know, and this is where I'm from, and they've never left. They've never been on an airplane. They've never seen anything outside of their city. So maybe they've been out, you know, into the woods a few times or whatever, but like the reality of that is that their worldview is only possible to be so large. And I'm not judging them or saying, I'm just saying that that's the situation that it is. And then you take somebody that, you know, has flown all around the world and seen so many different places, and their worldview is much different. They see how certain people are living across the entire planet in a much different regard. What I'm saying though is like, when you realize how much vast open nature and animals and like God created stuff is out there, and then you look at specifically what is happening in the ecosystem of a city, you know, of the literal, you know, way that a city is working, like with the traffic and the city, like just everything. It's like, it's that separation is something that is I think it really admirable, because you're like, wow, look at what man can create. And then like, look at what God can create, even though it's both. And then differentiating the two. And I think it's really important if you have the ability to spend time in both. It's really cool to see that contrast and have that worldview of like, okay, I'm entering into this man-made, you know, matrix society that is, you know, literally designed in portions to create, but it's also designed to enslave. And then you have the God-given natural world where you literally are free to do whatever you want. If you want to hunt or, you know, grow something or eat something or whatever, you got to go out and forage for it and find it. But then we can go out into a supermarket where somebody has dumbed down or sped up that process to such an extent that we can literally just go like, give a piece of paper to somebody, and then we just take meat off the shelf and go cook it. You know, it's like but the way we got that money was from giving something else. Unless you're a thief and you stole it, like you had to earn that money, and then you took that money and then you brought it to the store, and then you spent that money, the store took the money, and then you took the food, right? Like I'm sounding like obvious, like that's layman's term stuff, but when you put that into perspective of how different that ecosystem is than nature, where you have to go earn it. You know, like if you're just left out in the woods with nothing and you had to go figure out how to hunt your food, like God is going to reward you when you work hard for that food. And the same is applicable in society. It's just a lot different. So we're being socially conditioned to an extent where I think this is a funny way to end this video, but if the world had a catastrophic event and everyone was fend for themselves on their own, I think most people would die. It's like a depressing random ending, but I think it's true.